design of this as I view on the left.
Hello students, welcome to my YouTube channel VRAcademy. We are here to study the digital electronics. The next topic of discussion is flip-flop. We have already completed the latches. I have told you about how the latches are being designed and operated. In this video, I'll tell you about the flip-flop, its difference with latches, and the types of flip-flop. In the next upcoming videos, we'll be discussing about each one of the flip-flop in detailed way. But for the time being, we have to understand what is the definition of flip-flop and how it differs from latch and what are the different types. So coming to the definition, when we are defining the flip-flop, we need to remember 3 points only. The first point is that it is a bistable multivibrator. This is the first point you should be keeping in your mind, that flip-flop is nothing but a bistable multivibrator. And second point is that it is a edge trigger device. It is a edge trigger device. And the third point is that it has the ability to store 1 bit of data. If you are if you are able to remember these 3 points, you will be able to define it precisely. The first one is it is a bistable multivibrator, edge trigger device, and third one is that it can store 1 bit of data. Now I'll be explaining you each one of them in detail. What is this bistable, what is this edge triggering, and what is the function and how it is storing the data. So bistable multivibrator means it is a kind of, you can say, device in which both the states are stable states. The best example of bistable device is a switch. Now if you are going for a normal switch, there are 2 states which are stable. I mean, if you are keeping switch on, it will remain in switch on condition indefinitely. If you have to bring that to off mode, you need to press it. You need to externally provide a force in order to make that switch off. So that is your and once it goes to the off state, it will remain in off state indefinitely until and unless you are providing the external force on that switch. The same case is applied for the flip-flop. It will remain in 0 state indefinitely until and unless you are triggering it once again. Okay. Similarly, if it is in high state, you need to trigger it to bring down to 0 state. If it is in 0 state, you need to trigger it to bring up into your, or you can say, high state. So that is how we can say that it is a bistable multivibrator. Now, what is edge triggering? So generally, flip-flop is a sequential circuit which works on the edges of the clock. In the last videos, I have discussed about the edge and the level, and I have told you that these are known as your edges of the clock signal. So basically, when we are talking about the flip-flop, flip-flops always works on the edges of the clocks. That is why it is called as edge trigger device. And it is having the ability to store 1 bit of data. It can store either 0 or 1 inside it. So this is about the explanation of the flip-flop definition. Now, once again, I'm repeating it. You need to remember only 3 points. First one is it's a bistable multivibrator. Second one is it's edge triggered. And third one is that it can store 1 bit of data. That's it. If you are combining all of them, you will get the definition of flip-flop. So flip-flop is a bistable multivibrator, edge triggered device, which can store 1 bit of data. Now coming to, this is about the definition of flip-flop. Now definitely this flip-flop is different from your latches. So we'll find out what are the differences between latches and the flip-flop. So I have once again taken 4 columns in which I have written serial number, then parameters, then latch and flip-flop, and we'll try to figure out what are the differences that we are encountering in case of latch and the flip-flop. So first parameter is triggering. In case of latch is a level trigger device. I have already discussed in the previous videos that latch is a level trigger device, while flip-flop right now I have told you is a edge trigger device. Level trigger means mostly, not mostly, all the time you will be finding out that your device will be either working over here or it will be working over here. Edge trigger means it will be working on the edges. Then types of sequential circuit. Latches are basically asynchronous in nature. You can say that latches are asynchronous sequential circuit, while flip-flop are sequential circuit. Now coming to the next point, that is clock signal. So clock signal, basically the operation of flip-flop occurs with the help of clock signal. And in case of latch, we do not require clock signal. We can do it with the help of enable signal. Therefore, we have written it not required for operation. Means clock signal is not required for operation. It can be done with the help of enable signal, EN. Enable signal, that is EN signal. EN signal is nothing but it is a level. Okay. Now coming to the processing speed, generally the latches are faster in its operation while flip-flops are slower. The reason being, we are using clock over here, we are not using clock over here. Since we are not using clock, the operation directly occurs in case of latches, but in case of flip-flop, since any change in or any alteration in the state is done with the help of clock, so that requires time, and hence the flip-flop are a bit, you can say, slower in operation. Now coming to the power consumption, definitely if you don't have a unit present over there, clock signal is not present, therefore it will have a smaller requirement or a smaller power requirement, while in case of flip-flop it is having a larger requirement. Now coming to the types of flip-flop, it is having 5 types of flip-flop. Basically, we can say that it is having 4 types. Master slave flip-flop is only operated in order to reduce certain conditions or cases. But overall, we can say these are the 5 flip-flop which we need to study in digital electronics. The first one is SR flip-flop, second one is D flip-flop, third one is JK flip-flop, fourth one is T flip-flop, and the final one is master slave flip-flop. So these are the various types of flip-flops. So we have covered only 3 sections or 3 parts in this video, that is definition of flip-flop, difference of flip-flop with the latches, and what are the different types of flip-flop. We'll be discussing about each one of the flip-flop in detail in the upcoming videos. Thank you for joining. If you have any suggestion, you can come up with that in the comment box. Thank you.